Football fans, Gooners, welcome to the post-Arsenal West Ham edition of the Positively Uncensored Arsenal. As usual, I'm your host, Shotta, and my expert, my friend, my guest, Blackburn George. How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am hanging in there, George. I'm hanging into the whole year and about to make a trip for the new year. Not a very happy trip, but that just telling fans that as a result, I will not be able to do Fulham duty calls. But George, what a shocker to me yesterday. West Ham, we started off briskly. We had them on their heels. And just like Adrian Clark predicted, they got a counter-attacking opportunity. Paqueta controlled the ball to Emerson. Emerson made this beautiful cross. We seemed all confused. Jared Bowen, I don't know, George, if he took it off the line or it was out the line. They scored, and after that, I didn't think we were look convincing. Your thoughts after my long preamble?
No, there's a lot of stats in our favour,
Yes.
but watching the game, it was possession for the sake of possession a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. We didn't really create much. Jesus missed a couple of easy chances, but he always misses a couple of easy chances. The thing is, sometimes when you dominate a game, it's because you play well and you force the team back and you don't allow them to play. Mm-hmm. Last night wasn't that. Last night was them allowing us all the possession right in front of their box and not giving a fuck about it because they didn't think we were going to score. We weren't forcing them back. Of all the teams, David Moyes, with his 1980s style, gets up to play that.
Yes.
Have the ball. What are you going to do with it? The answer was nothing. And if you have all that possession territorially, all those touches in the opposition's box, and you don't really make many chances, there's something wrong. And the problem is, they can set up like that, allow us the wings, knowing full well that we're not going to pass the ball in because we've nobody to put the ball in the net if we put it in early. And that won't do. It cuts out. It makes it easier for them to set up. Then all they have to do is double mark Martinelli and Saka, and we've nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We just have no real creative players breaking the lines. Havertz maybe would have done that, and he would have been an aerial threat, but we didn't have him. And surely we've not reached the point where we're relying on Kai Havertz.
True. Yes.
I get your point. People saying, it'll be different when Thomas Partey comes back. Fuck's sake. He's going to create a lot as well. We have a problem and people just won't accept it. Now, I've been having a discussion this morning about, is it the setup or is it the players? Are we setting up not to make a lot of chances, which is why we're not scoring a lot of goals, or are our three front strikers missing the opportunities to score goals? Well, you can decide for yourself. But either way, either Arteta's setup is wrong or he's built a team that doesn't suit his setup. One way or the other, somebody's at fault here at the top. Now, that's easy to say. And by saying that, you have to wipe off all the good work that's been done at the club. And we shouldn't do that. The defence is much stronger. We do control games. we do look solid. But because you have that, you have to have a balance. We have to score goals. At the end of the day, you cannot win if you're not scoring goals. And we've seen it time and time again. West Ham, Newcastle, dominating the games.
Mm-hmm.
But in what way? Not dominating them by peppering the goal. 30 shots yesterday.
Yes.
Supposedly. But how many of them were real goal-threatening shots? You see these stats will go like 30 shots, and we've got an XG of about 1.1 or something.
Well, we had an XG of nearly 2.5, and they had like 1.5. I took it from SofaScore. Now, this is not the exact number, but George, the stats show, if I can get this up, the stats show, George, and I think I want to be, to not agree with you on a bit. That is, we had 30 shots and 8 of them were on target. The guy Areola, the goalkeeper, made a couple of very nice saves, especially that one from Odegaard and towards the end, which he had to dive across and push. Well, it was at relegation height. But the point I'm making, George, is that we have the possession, we have the shots. I don't think that our striker, Gabriel Jesus, is good enough. I'm going to be very blunt with you, George. This is when City won with him the year before he came to us. They had Gundogan scoring goals, Bernardo Silva scoring goals, Mahrez scoring goals. We don't have those quality players. Your thoughts on what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I agree with you. You see that he brings a lot to the game, but
he's supposed to be at number 9, George. For heaven's sake.
I know this is what people are ignoring. That he doesn't score enough. He's not prolific. He doesn't actually do individual goals either. He's a team player in the sense that he does try and drop deeper, get involved in the game. But many times you're watching the TV and you think, what's Jesus doing in our half? When we've got the ball. We've got the ball. Get in the fucking box. And or make runs into the box. Or make fucking runs. Don't run towards the ball. Run away from the fucking ball. That's your job. And I agree with you. I think he's a good player. I think he would be better playing where Pep Guardiola used him a lot, which was
the wide player.
The wide player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's certainly not a number 9. And his hold-up play is not that good.
Yes, correct. I mean, no, he's not the kind of man with your back to goal.
No, I was going to say, his hold-up play is not like you can put the ball up to him and he'll win it and with his back to goal and hold it. He's never fucking there with his back to goal to hold it in the first place.
Yeah, he wants the ball in front of him.
Yeah. Or, he's not in a position to hold the ball up. He's somewhere else in the field. So who's holding the ball up? Nobody. We're building, and we build it at such a pedestrian fucking rate that the possession's good, but it's safe possession. It's 3 touches instead of 2 touches. It's 2 touches instead of 1 touch. Shevchenko moves into the left back position, moves out the left back position, exposing that, but gives us numbers in midfield.
Right.
And he slows the ball play down. It's unbelievably. So a team like West Ham has all the time in the world to get in, drop into position and say, well, come on then, you've got the ball now, what are you going to do with it? And inevitably the answer is, fuck all. We're doing nothing with it.
George, I think we had good opportunities. But look at, let's look at our, I hope people can see this. We're not beating, I am focusing on Gabriel Jesus. He had 3 shots, 1 on target. Bukayo Saka had 9 shots, 3 on target, but the boy Ogbonna and whoever else was marking him, include this guy called Alvarez, would join Ogbonna. They forced him inside, and I don't think he had a very good shot. I mean, they have 1 shot on target, 3 shots on target, but they weren't very good shots. Martin Odegaard had 3 shots, 1 on target. Trossard had 5 shots, only 1 on target, and from where the one that he drove at Areola was a good shot. But the others, I didn't think they were very good shots. I think they were speculative. And our other front player, Martinelli, 1 shot, 0 on target. This is not going to get you. I agree with you, George. You're not going to beat West Ham this way. I mean, we seen Moyes at Everton. He set up just the same way and has frustrated a lot of teams.
Yeah, that's that. We knew what we were going to get last night, and we didn't have an answer. We didn't. It's possession for possession's sake.
Sterile possession, according to
or as Arsene Wenger would say, imaginary domination.
Yes, sterile possession. He said
sterile possession and imaginary domination.
Yeah.
What
you thought of? But what you thought of? Well, George, my point is it time for a center forward? Is it the system, or is it that we don't have a proper striker?
Well, it's probably a bit of both, isn't it? There's never a really simple answer, is there? You take Jesus out of the game, and because he's not dropping into midfield, will dominate the ball less. Centre forward will give us more threat, but less domination. And I think we're focusing far too much on possession of the football. We're Manchester City light.
Yes.
We've not got the players that they have. I watched them playing at Everton last week, and they went a goal down.
Yes.
And they came out in the second half and absolutely bewildered Everton. They were moving the ball that quick in patterns that Everton just couldn't cope with. And they were doing exactly the same as West Ham. They had a 1-goal lead, and they were going to sit back, and they couldn't sit back and soak it up because City were too good. They were too incisive. They go slow, and then quick. We go slow, shoot at somebody who's standing in front of you and call that a shot on goal.
Yeah, well, you can't excuse the goal that Bernardo Silva scored. The goalie kicked it to his back, and he picked it up, but he just perfectly lobbed it. Anyway, George, but that's true. Absolutely. And they have goal scorers. I mean, come on. The guys, he didn't score against Everton. What's the top goal scorer? He's looking at his face right now. But they didn't need it. I mean, when you have somebody like the youngster there, the English youngster,
Phil Foden.
Yes, and Pep was just effusive, saying he's bringing Phil inside more because the goal that he scored, the goalkeeper really had no chance. I mean, he drove it to the near post. You have goal scorers. Look at poor old Martinelli. George, so far this season, Martinelli 14 matches, 3 goals, 1 assist. Is that Martinelli's stat? I hope yes. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great at all. But last year, and I don't want to write him off, but last year he scored 15 goals in the Premier League. What's happened to him?
Well, you can either, again, I was saying this on Twitter, you can have it one of 2 ways. Either Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka have all forgotten how to score all at the same time for half a season, or the setup's not right and it's changed and it doesn't suit them as well. Which do you want to choose? Which option? Either way, something's wrong. We have to either change the system or change the personnel. And We're not going to change the personnel. We're not selling Martinelli and Saka and Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So the system it's so pedestrian, it's so predictable. And since Eddie Howe worked us out early in the season at Newcastle, double teaming Saka and Martinelli,
right?
Everybody's doing it, and you can see we've got 10 points less at this point of the season than we had last season,
and 10 goals less,
and 10 goals. We've got 10 goals in total from the front three. That are supposed to be world-class players. Give me a fucking break. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. No, I'm not a fucking Arsene Wenger or Pep Guardiola. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know it's something. And somebody's in control of it and needs to do something about it.
But in that system that Arteta had last year, he had Xhaka as a free player, playing a free role. He would link up with Martinelli going forward, or he would drop back into the left back position when Zinchenko went forward. He doesn't have that this year, George. Who drops back? It's Gabriel sliding over, and that weakens your central defense. He's been brilliant, but he's very guarded.
Well, he wasn't brilliant yesterday, was he?
Yeah, Saliba messed up on the first one. They got confused. I don't know what happened. Although Saliba was, But anyway, so nobody wants to mention that, but I think that the system is missing. Somebody can play that a Xhaka role. We just don't have that versatility. You've been saying that all from the beginning of the season.
From before the beginning of the season, I predicted that was exactly what would happen.
Yes.
And it has. And I was sitting thinking, it's ridiculous. Remember, going back a couple of seasons, everybody on Twitter was saying, Xhaka's the weak link. He needs to be replaced. He's bang average. He can easily be replaced. Well, how's that worked out?
Right.
I said at the time it was a heartbeat of the team, and he's gone. And the team looks far less effective for it.
Going forward, especially, George. I mean, defensively, we might be conceding less. Yes.
At the end of the day, your measure of how good you are, the best measure, if you're going to pick one single measure, is goal difference.
Yes.
Not goal score, goal difference.
Yes.
So I think we've let in two more goals at this point last season, but scored 10 more goals.
Yes.
That's eight goal difference.
That's what win you
points.
points.
Good enough, and it won't get the job done. But we're still in a strong position.
Yes.
We're still in second place. Manchester City are still behind us, although if they win the game in hand, they'll level points with us, I believe. But the opportunity is going to be lost if we can't score goals. And we don't, let's be honest, we don't look like scoring goals.
And, George, we don't want to be overly pessimistic. I don't want to be. But it gets harder in the second half of the season. And we are in this, and by the way, we are in the second round of the Champions League, and we can't go up there and throw games away because it's going to make it, it's going to pile on the pressure. People are going to say, what the hell are you doing in this level? You're expected to perform at a certain level when you make the second round of the Champions League. So I expect us to put our best team on the line on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But it's going to be harder, don't you think?
Yeah, it's going to be harder. But the thing is, we have to bear in mind, we are still second. It's not our fault other teams aren't performing. We are still second, and we have improved in some areas of the team.
Defensively.
Yeah.
Seems to me.
And you can't ignore that. That's, credit has to be given for that.
Mm-hmm.
But we just don't look like a good team as often as we used to, as we did last season. But then again, we folded like a pack of cards at the end of last season.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in this setup, we'll be more solid. But that won't do us any good if we're not in the race.
Yeah.
We've got to get scoring more goals. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And I don't know what the answer is, but I'm pretty sure it's not paying 80 million for Ivan Toney.
Yes, he's the on your blog, Siebes was saying that he thinks Dominic Solanke, I think he's at Bournemouth, correct, George? Scored 3 goals the other day, a trick too.
I don't know how we get him out of Bournemouth.
Yeah, because that but you know,
it's easy saying that. Oh, we'll have him.
Yes.
I tell you, let's go to Manchester City and have, is it Alvarez?
Yeah. Yes, he scored. Did he score? Did he score on Tuesday?
Your answer. Just go and get him.
Yes.
It's not that easy. You can't do it.
Yes.
What about Harry Kane? He'd do.
Right. Yeah, you go up to Bayern and take him.
Where are we getting these players from?
Yes.
So I don't know what the answer is. You have to look at who we have at the moment.
Yes.
And get them scoring more goals, because we know Martinelli can score. We know Saka can score.
Right.
And we have to make it that they're getting opportunities to score, good opportunities. Not, honestly, does my fucking head in. You see them both cutting in time and time again and blasting the ball at the guy standing right in front of them. And that's a shot on goal.
Yeah.
You know, it's pathetic. But what else can we do? There's no point telling them to put the ball into the box, because there's nobody in the box and there's nobody who can head it in if they do that. Again, apart from maybe Kai Havertz. And he's not exactly fucking prolific, is he?
No, he's not. And even from his Chelsea days, I mean, he's a good player. I know.
He's a good player.
Yeah,
and he's a lot better than he was at the beginning of the season.
Yes. George, do you think he's gonna start Nketiah? And what does that say? Is that even it's gonna put a lot of pressure on Eddie? Eddie came on yesterday, you know, and people like to slate him, slag him, rip him, whichever word you want to use. But he had 2 shots for his little cameo, 27 minutes plus cameo. 2 shots, 1 on target. Go ahead.
What got me is that yesterday, Reece Nelson came on and he got battered, saying he was contributing nothing. Nobody said a fucking word about Martinelli. He had fucking 80 minutes of being rubbish. And Nketiah's supposed to come on. Reece Nelson's supposed to come on, having played like 20 minutes in the last 2 seasons, and change the game. It's just fucking ridiculous.
And my commentator said he would, you know, he might do another. It was Brighton. Scored to death. Yeah.
Anyway, it won't get the job done. Playing like this, playing this way, at this pace, won't get the job done. Not if we're thinking of trying to win the league.
But I was challenging you, George, and I'm challenging the others. You think that he needs to use Eddie as a target man, because Eddie can play that role, and also, I mean, he harasses the defenders. I mean, there's something that I think in his game that separates him from the elite strikers, and we all know that. But he's certainly somebody.
Yeah, but it might just be game time. That might be what's separating him. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's you know, it's so hard. You look at Gabriel Jesus and you think he does some really wonderful things. It works hard for the team, but ultimately, he's not doing the job we need him to do in a system that builds up play and relies on the front 3 to put the ball in the back of the net. We've not got any marauding midfielders. We've not got an Aaron Ramsey anymore.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, and you know, Arteta does not believe in the striker who only gets excited when the ball is in the final third, like Aubameyang. He fired him. He got rid of him because he was not the kind of striker that fits in the system. Well,
no, but he was a striker, type of striker that won us the FA Cup.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I don't want to be down because there are things. I mean, they couldn't have tried harder yesterday.
Yes,
they couldn't have put more effort in. That's a plus.
Yes,
there's no heads dropping. They'll fight and they'll fight and they'll fight, and they're together. And the squad is in harmony, it appears. There's no dissent, no moaning about not being played. You don't hear like of Jorginho or Trossard complaining that they're not getting enough game time. Everybody's on board with Arteta. That's a plus.
Right.
That's a plus. But ultimately, you watch the game and you think, there's something missing. Something.
Definitely. That is the... Yeah, and we are not professionals. I can't tell Arteta what to do. Neither. Most fans want to think they can, but something is not. And the figures bear this out. It's not. I agree with you. It's not something.
My problem is that this is his team now.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
They're his team, 100%. So either the system doesn't suit the players, or the players don't suit the system.
Yes.
Because something's wrong. And either way, it's on him to fix it because it's his system and his players. And after 4 years, the players he has should suit the system he has fixed in his mind. If he has a fixed system, which he appears to. He has a vision for how we should play. And it should have been up to him to pick and get the players to suit that system. And if we're now saying these players do not suit that system, then why have we got them? Or why haven't we changed the system?
Well, that's a hard...
By the way, he's got some progress to make. Everybody wants to blame the players. And it seems that Mikel is absolutely beyond reproach. Well, yeah. I don't see it that way myself. I think I'm certainly not calling for him to be booted out or saying that he isn't achieving good things or he hasn't made progress or the club hasn't progressed. All those things are true. But we're certainly not where a lot of our fans think we are.
We're not as good as we think.
No, not anywhere near as good as we think.
George, fans, what are your opinions about the kind of change, a system change or personal change that can be made for the second part of the season, especially in the running where it really matters? We know that Liverpool and Manchester City, that's when they really turn up the heat. Can we hold our form and make a good run into the title? That's the question. George, we won't do the man of the match because I think...
No, I've looked at those sofa score numbers and they're an absolute fucking joke. Yeah. Declan Rice got a higher score than Martin Odegaard. Who was doing the fucking scores? Stevie Wonder?
These guys aren't. Yeah. We do it only because for reference, but I'm not... at least they claim that they're doing it based on stats. I think they all take the data from Opta. But no. In fact, I see them. By the way, George, before I close, I see them consistently rating Gabriel Magalhaes over Saliba. I mean, I don't consistently. Sofa score, who scored, and I'm like, what game are you watching? I mean, Saliba is the best one of the best one-on-one defenders in the league, and most guys just don't go. They just don't take him on. They get past the ball. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's not just one of the best one-on-one defenders. He's one of the best defenders overall. I mean, he's magnificent. He's fabulous on the ball. he is the typical Rolls-Royce player. When you say he's a Rolls-Royce player,
you took the words out of my mouth.
The very definition of a Rolls-Royce player.
Took the words out of my mouth, George.
Whereas Gabriel Mangelis, he's like frantic, and he does well.
Yes,
but he's more of a frantic player. I mean, put him on the market and see who would buy
yes.
which, and what the difference in price would be.
You're right. Because I'm telling you, Saliba will go in a heartbeat if we ever let him go. I mean, come on.
Oh, absolutely, and he could play for any club in the world.
Yeah.
He is a world-class player by the definition that he could play and enhance any team in the world.
Anyway, George, on that note, we're not doing any man of the match today.
All right.
Thank you, guys. This was a quick one. Like I said, we will be missing the Fulham game. I wish Arsenal the best. I think they're not they're not chopped liver, but I think we can go up there, the Craven Cottage, and do some damage. George, thanks a lot.
And you.
See you in the new year. Bye. Bye-bye. Yeah.